as we are looking at inverters and what inverters are. We'll try to explain what an inverter is. We'll go into details to explain what an inverter does, the types of inverter that you find on the market, so that even as you be looking for an inverter, you would have made an informed decision. So I'll take you through for in today's lesson, which is on inverters, of course, so that we can understand what an inverter is, and thereafter be able to make an informed decision. So our outline, Malachi has already explained. We did our first phase, which was on solar panels and batteries. So our phase two, we are looking at inverters. So we are going to look at what an inverter is and the type of inverters that we have. So obviously an inverter, maybe for those that would know what an inverter is an electrical device which converts alternating current, which is AC, into direct current DC. So that's what an inverter is. So the basic operation of an inverter is just to convert AC into DC. So AC is the alternating current that you get from ZESCO. So an inverter will be able to convert that AC into DC and stores that energy in the battery. So that at the time that maybe power fails, you'll be able to use the stored energy in the battery and it will be able to give you AC. So that's what an inverter is. And there are types of inverters on the market. So for the purpose of our discussion, we are going to look at an inverter charger and the hybrid inverters or a solar inverter. So we're going to explain to you what an inverter charger is, what a hybrid inverter is, or others would call it a solar inverter. So what is an inverter charger? So an inverter charger simply converts AC to DC power, like we've explained. So you've got ZESCO connected to the inverter. Then the inverter does all the conversion from AC, which is alternating current, which is ZESCO. Then it converts it into direct current, which is stored in your battery. So that's what an inverter does. So you've got ZESCO grid charges the battery and stores energy in the battery. So that diagram shows you what an inverter does. So you've got your AC input. You can see the arrow there. You've got two arrows. One goes through the bypass switch, and the other one goes through the rectifier or the inverter itself. So once you feed it with supply, the power goes into the inverter. It is rectified, then it charges the battery. And then your loads are connected direct, as you can see. So that's how an inverter works. That's a block diagram of an inverter. It will just convert AC into DC, it charges your battery, and then your alternative current is going to be bypassed automatically to your loads. At the same time, it's charging the battery. At the same time, your loads are running, like let's say your TVs, your lights, your laptops, your fridges. They'll be running. At the same time, it's charging the battery. So inverter usage. We are going to look at what inverter usage is, okay? If power, for example, is interrupted, so an inverter will convert that stored energy in the battery into AC. So that's what an inverter does. It will convert the energy stored in the battery into AC so that you can run your loads like your TVs, your microwaves, for example. If you can run your fridges, for example. You can also run your entertainment or your internet. So that's what an inverter does. It will stop power in the battery, power falls, then you get power from the battery. So that's how an inverter works. So we'll explain into details, obviously, when you start looking at the application. So this shows you when power fails or when ZESCO is out. So whatever you had stored in the battery is converted, it goes back up into the rectifier or the rectifier circuit of an inverter. Then an inverter converts that DC into AC. Because your loads like your TVs, your lights, your laptops, they run from alternating current, not direct current. So direct current won't run your TV. It needs to be converted into AC for it to be able to power your TV. That's why you've got that rectifier which changes from DC into AC. So that portion is installed, is within the inverter itself. So this picture shows you that ZESCO is not present. So your inverter now converts the stored energy in the battery back into AC for your TV to run, for your fridge to run. All the household equipment that you have will run on AC, not DC. That's a very important thing that you need to note. So other than that, we've explained that concept was an inverter charger. Now, we are going to look at what we call a hybrid inverter. So what is the difference between a hybrid inverter and an inverter charger? So an inverter charger only uses ZESCO to charge the battery. But in this case, we've gone a step further by introducing solar panels. Therefore, it's called a hybrid inverter because it uses two sources of supply, that is the grid, and the grid, in this case, we're talking about ZESCO, and then you've got solar panels also charging the battery at the same time. So what this inverter does, it will sense, for example, it has got provision for setting priority. If you want, let's say, solar to be priority during daytime, it will be able to charge your battery using solar and be able to supply your loads. At the same time, the ZESCO will be able to charge, but in small quantity, so you can vary the percentage of charging. Okay. So this picture shows you a hybrid inverter. You've got the solar panels, okay, coming from there, connected into the inverter. Then from there, you've got your mains or your generator connected into the inverter. Eventually, it charges your battery. Then from the inverter, you've got your loads running now. Your fridges, your TV, your fan, your bulbs. So that's what a hybrid inverter does. So it's just an introduction of solar panels, which makes it different from the other one that we've looked at. So this is how a hybrid inverter works, and the difference between an inverter charger and a hybrid inverter is simply the addition of solar panels. So this one gives you an advantage in that given the current situation whereby you've got load shedding, let's say from 08 hours up to 16 hours, then your inverter will be charging batteries using the solar panels. The more reason why it was important for us to learn about the solar panels. So the solar panels, they play a critical role in this case of charging the battery if ZESCO is not present. So a hybrid inverter gives you that advantage of connecting solar panels. At the same time, you can also connect ZESCO. It will be able to run your loads when ZESCO is not available. So that is the advantage of a hybrid inverter. That also, it does not, you can also use an inverter charger. You can also connect solar panels, but in this case, you may need to get what we call an external charge controller so that you can connect your panels via an external charge controller. Then it will still charge your battery. Then your inverter, the only job it will do is just to convert DC into AC. So now with this kind of inverter, that external charge controller is inbuilt. So all the activities are taking place actually within the inverter itself. Unless if there are questions, I believe I've talked too much. Unless if there are questions, then I can attend to those questions. Do we have questions?
Hello?
Yeah, do we have questions?
No. Well, the only question would have been on the SCDC clarification, but you've delved on that and you explained that, so it's pretty clear.
Okay.
All right.
All right, thank you very much. Then I can proceed. Obviously, it was just a brief presentation, short. So that marks, on inverters, we've explained what inverters are, what an inverter is, one inverter charger. We've explained also on the difference between an inverter charger and a hybrid inverter. Then there's an aspect of maintenance. So just like on the panels and batteries, we spoke about the issue of maintenance. Even inverters, once you install them, you need to make sure that inverters are maintained. It's very important. So you need to, from time to time, because inverters, they've got rotating parts. or they've got a fan inside. So with time, the fan tends to clog. It will have a lot of dust inside. So we require that we open that inverter, we blow the dust out, make sure that all the dust is clean. We use the blower, of course, to blow the dust out, so that at the end of the day, your inverter will be able to work according to its intended purpose. Because if there's too much dust, there'll be a lot of heat generated. Your fans will get stuck. It will not be able to rotate to cool the inverter. Eventually, to wear out. So it's important that we understand that aspect. Also, we need to check and make sure that the cables are tight once you install your inverter. All those parameters are very important. You also make sure that the terminals of the battery, your inverter has got the cable which is connected to the terminals of the battery. So it tends to have some whitish stuff which we call sulfation on the terminals. So you need to grease them regularly, or maybe in a period of 6 months. You need to check if there's some sulfur on the terminals. You untie them, you put some grease, you clean it nicely, then you tie them back, because that is very important. If you don't attend to your inverter, eventually the cables might break loose, and the inverter will not be able to supply the necessary energy. So you need to make sure that all that is attended to. So any changes to the loads, obviously, currently as compared to the one recommended by the technician at the time of commissioning, that should be communicated, because it's within the warranty period. You need to make sure that the inverter is within the range that is designed for. You don't put so much load on the inverter so that you can get enough backup time. Because if you put so much load on the inverter, then the rate of wear is quite high. So we normally recommend at least 50% of the load should sit on the inverter. Then you'll be able to get the maximum benefits out of it. I think that's been our presentation. Thank you very much for attending. My name is Albi Mambo with my colleague here, Malakai.